All right, y'all, a quick programming note. First of all, happy holidays. Most of you are starting your holiday, your 2-week holiday as of today. We wanted to give you guys a little update on our holiday schedule. Today is our first holiday episode. And our holiday schedule is going to be erratic, sporadic. We will probably still be bringing you shows daily throughout the holidays till January the 5th. But they won't necessarily be at the exact time. We normally post around 7 days a week. There might be some days where we don't post, maybe on Christmas, maybe before New Year's or whatever. Of course, if there's any sort of breaking news or anything really pressing, we'll definitely do a show. But I just didn't want to feel like the pressure over the holidays to absolutely do a show to show up at 7 o'clock. Also, they might be a little bit shorter. They might be a little bit longer. We might do a live. A lot of you have requested that. We might do some member only things. So I just wanted to take the next 2 weeks while most of you are on holiday for us to do a holiday schedule where, like I said, mostly we will still be here daily for you, but there might be some days we're not. Make sure you just check in with us. Happy holidays to everyone. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending on what time zone you're in, well, I'm already looking for the horn. Depending on what time zone you're in, it's Friday! You know I'm excited when it is a Friday. All right, yeah, and for some of y'all, it is Saturday morning. Regardless of where you are in the world, it's the weekend. All right, y'all, I have a great show set up for you guys today. In breaking news, Charlamagne Tha God signs a $200 million extension contract deal with iHeart Radio. Also, in Behind the Feed and Off the Record, the Epstein files are due today between 3 p.m. and midnight. And also, Nick Reiner will plead not guilty for unaliving his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. In lead stories, Tory Lanez is seeking a pardon. Brown University suspect has been found unalive, and Tylil posts receipts after being accused of essay by Jourdin Pauline. In quick news, we're going to talk Diddy's new name, TikTok, and Donald Trump. As always, we are going to close out the show with social discussion, comments, love and relationship, and a question of the day. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, your devices up. Come on. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. All right, in our breaking story, Charlamagne Tha God, inside Charlamagne Tha God's new empire. All right, this is Char on the cover of Forbes magazine. Before we get to this story, I just want to backtrack a little. Actually, sorry, not backtrack, because who cares? I just want to take you through my timeline for what I saw. Actually, hold on. Let's backtrack for those of you who may have missed the episode. Last week, Tasha K put out a tweet, and she alleged that Charlamagne Tha God his contract was not up for renewal. It was coming to the end, and potentially iHeart was not going to be re-signing him due to his political views, and his contract was up January the 21st, 2026. She also put out a video of him at a conference, I think in September, where somebody asked him, hey, what's going on with you and iHeart and the Black Effect podcast deal? And he's like, I don't want to talk about business right now, alluding to the fact. Once Tasha K put that out, everybody started talking, what's going on, what's going on? I was, of course, one of those creators reporting what's going on to you, but I also said, well, two things. One, I am never going to talk bad about Charlamagne, The Breakfast Club, Envy, Jess Hilarious, Lauren LaRosa, and Angela Yee, or anybody at iHeart or The Breakfast Club, whether it be Tia, Nala, it doesn't matter, or even Taylor, shout out to Taylor, because I do business with them. I work with them. Charlamagne has been one of the people in the industry, especially on this content creator side, that has put me on stages. So I made the correlation kind of like when 50 Cent says he's never going to say anything bad or beef with Eminem. So I reported on it, but I said, hey, I got to report on it, but I have a little bit of bias because I do work with them, and it's been 3 years in a row that I have been part of Charlamagne's and Dr. Alfie's Mental Wealth Alliance. So that's family. So that was my first thing. And second thing, I said, regardless of my affiliation with iHeart, I said, when people tell you who they are, believe them. When the Jess Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa thing was going on, is she going to replace Jess after she came back from her pregnancy, all of this stuff back and forth. Shar told you at that time, we set y'all up. We did that so that we could use the social media hype. And he said, I have done that many times before. This is just the first time I'm telling y'all. If you guys remember, even TMZ interviewed him outside of the building. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, who's going to be the permanent host. And he came out and was like, boom, like, we used y'all. So knowing who he is and then knowing who he tells you who he is, right away when Tasha K put this out, I was like, I don't know if it's true or not, but it smells as if like Shar is going to have a major announcement, and everybody just sit tight to see. I was also very transparent. I said, I messaged him and I was like, hey, last time I reported about the Breakfast Club and Dame Dash, you hit me up and we were like, yo, stop spreading false rumors. So this time I wanted to hit you up and say, hey, do you have a comment? And I was very transparent and said he didn't answer me. And the fact that he didn't answer me let me know, well, one of two things: he could have been busy, or two things, like the second thing is he didn't want to talk about it, which is more evidence. And I told you guys, and I'm like, I feel like he's preparing something. And then third of all, everybody knows that Charlamagne is the anchor of the Breakfast Club. When the Netflix deal came out, I was like, there's no way Netflix is going to sign the Breakfast Club without Char. So I was just like, sit back and relax. Good call. And to even be even more transparent, I literally just messaged him very quick today and I was like, well played, congrats. And no, I said, well played, sir, congrats. And he wrote me back and he said, thank you, sir. So, he is at the point in his life where he's like, I'm telling you guys I'm playing y'all. If you don't want to believe me, fine. I'm going to keep playing in y'all faces. So all the content creators that were like, yeah, it's over, his political views, it's done, the Breakfast Club podcast, now there's space, whatever. You got to deal with Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club for at least another 5 years. Okay, so that is bringing everybody up to speed. So this morning, I wake up and I see this in my feed. So I'm going to take you through how I came to get this information. So I wake up and Lauren LaRosa posts this. Breaking: radio personality Charlamagne Tha God signs $200 million deal with iHeart Media, extending his time with the Breakfast Club, the iHeart family, and the Black Effect podcast network partnership, and more, per Forbes magazine. And then she puts in a joke. Following the news, I reached out to a source close to the short, thick man for a comment exclusively. And the comment that I got back was, leave me alone, Ashy. If you know the relationship between Shar and his co-host, well, technically not co-host, but, we all know that she's part of the fam. If you know the relationship, that's just their relationship, okay? Underneath, she put exclusive details, I guess. After reports questioned his future, radio personality Charlamagne Tha God announced he signed a $200 million deal with iHeart Media. This contract extends his time with the Breakfast Club, the iHeart and Black Effect Network partnership, and more, per Forbes. Following the news, I reached out to... Okay, I read all that joke to you. Now, I already showed you guys the Forbes cover. Here is a part of inside Forbes magazine. In August, Charlamagne Tha God signed a 5-year, $200 million extension with iHeart Media. The deal keeps Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club for the near future and puts him in the same league as Joe Rogan, who signed a multi-year extension with Spotify for a reported $250 million last year. So shout out to Shar for putting himself in that kind of company, or maybe shout out to Joe Rogan for being in the kind of company of Charlamagne Tha God. Locking in Charlamagne is vital to iHeartMedia, which struck a deal with Netflix to stream The Breakfast Club among 15 other podcasts starting in 2016. Like I said, Netflix would never have signed The Breakfast Club without having Char. It just never would have made sense. But more importantly, Charlamagne's new deal will help him expand his Black Effect podcast network, a joint venture with iHeart Media. When I was looking at doing my new deal with iHeart, Charlamagne, etc., and it just went on. That's part of the article. Now, I want to read you this caption that gives a little bit more detail. Bear with me, it's a little bit repetitive, but like I said, this is fam, and I'm proud of Char. Charlamagne Tha God's longtime co-host of The Breakfast Club has signed a reported 5-year, $200 million deal with iHeart Media. This significant extension keeps him anchored at The Breakfast Club while expanding his role as leading creative force within the company and beyond. That's why I wanted to read this to you. The leading creative force within the company and beyond. That is huge. That's some horns. Under the new agreement, Charlamagne will continue hosting The Breakfast Club alongside DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Lauren LaRosa. See, Lauren, how they put you in as a host? A show that reaches millions of listeners each week and has shaped culture and conversation across music, entertainment, politics, and social issues for more than 15 years. Actually, this December was their 15-year anniversary. But the deal goes far beyond morning radio. It positions him, Charlamagne Tha God, as a strategic executive, giving him greater control and resources to grow the Black Effect podcast network, the joint venture he launched with iHeart Media in 2020 to amplify Black voices across the podcast platform. Charlamagne has publicly stated that his vision isn't just about staying on air, but also building the BET of podcasting, a centralized platform where diverse creators can thrive and own content at scale. Really important, and own content at scale. Since its inception, Black Effect has released more than 60 shows featuring prominent voices from sports, entertainment, business, and culture. And the network continues to expand with plans of at least 10 more shows in 2026. Yo, shout out to Char. Really amazing accomplishment. Well-deserved. I did see somewhere where somebody said the 5 years that he was with them from 2020 to 2025, iHeartRadio's podcast business has grown from 100 million to 400 million. Now, I don't know if that's exclusively only from Black Effect, but of course has something to do with Black Effect. So you have that kind of growth over 5 years. Yeah, the next 5 years, they're going to pay you for that growth. Now, going back to Tasha K to kind of bring this full circle, and I thought about even talking about this because why even talk about her? But I want to get ahead of this before she goes on YouTube to talk about this. And I want to do this for the Breakfast Club fam and Char. Not like they need me to, but I want to do my due diligence. So Tasha K tweeted this and said, PSA, winos, I'm a hater. I was in the 9th grade for 3 years, so don't mind me. But we will be discussing Charlamagne Tha God's 200 million if I deal tonight on YouTube and on Dex. Congrats, Charlamagne Tha God. You got some major work to do. See y'all tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, Clarissa Shields' cousin's interview drops tonight on TashaKLive.com. Okay. Notice how she used the Charlamagne name to promote her interview with Clarissa Shields' cousin. But all right, you got to do what you got to do. Now, as I'm recording this, obviously it hasn't been released yet, but Tasha is going to say, he doesn't have his 200 million. He needs to reach this level and he needs to reach this level. And if this fails and if that fails and if this doesn't work, then that's why she's saying it the if I deal. And then she says, congrats, with a kind of like a backhanded compliment. You got major work to do. Well, Charlamagne has proven that he wants to do nothing but major work. And he has been putting in the work. If you ever gone to the podcast, the Black Effect Podcast Festival in Atlanta, which I have not missed one, I think there's been 3. I've been to from the first one till the last one, just here in April. He is working hard. People are loving it. The food trucks. He films everything. He documents everything. Lauren LaRosa was like, he had people there working on film that was working at the Super Bowl. So he has been putting in the work. Now, what I want to make clear is that everybody's deal is structured this way. Nobody says, yo, here's a $200 million check. LeBron James, you get this deal. He has a lifetime contract with Nike. There's bonuses. There's this of what you hit, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And what I want to put in here, just to show you the level and to show you how deals are structured today, we talked around, 2-3 weeks ago about Elon Musk. And we talked about him being the first trillionaire. And he restructured his deal with Tesla. And his deal is probably structured the same way Char's is. And the same thing that Tasha is going to tell you guys tonight. Elon Musk has to sell a certain amount of Teslas. He has to sell a certain amount of iRobots. He has to do this with AI. He has to do this. He has to do that. And if he hits all of those things, if he revolutionizes like he promised he's going to revolutionize, yeah, he'll get $1 trillion. So Char, I'm sure, just to make clear, I'm not saying I saw the man's contract, but everyone's contract is set up this way. It's like an athlete's contract. You get this amount, but if you did this, you get to the playoffs, you get to the Super Bowl, you have 1,000 catches, 2,000 catches, 1,000 yards running, et cetera, et cetera. So this is hate right here. This is real hate. And I'm glad that she started off by saying that she's a hater. Tasha, you were wrong. We are all wrong in this business. We are not right all the time. We sit here, we try to give the people our take, our opinion, our feedback. Sometimes we're wrong. We are not AI. We are not bots. You got bad information from a source. I'm now going to think that Charlamagne planted that source because he is smart and I told y'all and he told y'all. So you got played. You got played. Your source was wrong. Your information was wrong. You should just come out and say, yo, I got this wrong, and not talk about the man's $200 million contract because, and no hate, Tasha, but you just filed for bankruptcy. You just had to reconstruct a bunch of stuff from owing Cardi B $4 million, and you have to restructure and file for bankruptcy to only pay her $1 million. Instead of hating online, maybe take a little bit of inspiration from what Char is doing and apply that. And maybe when you get out of bankruptcy, you too will be able to have a contract that people discuss and talk about. So let's end it off on a positive note. Shout out to the home team, the Breakfast Club, iHeart Radio, and Charlamagne Tha God. All right, y'all, our first story behind the feed and off the record. All right, it is December the 19th. Legally, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, is supposed to turn over every single file in the Epstein case and files. I have heard from a little birdie in Washington that, and I don't know if I said this, sorry, but it's due tonight at midnight. I've heard that they're going to drop over 100,000 files today at 3 p.m. Okay. I've also heard that they're going to be dropping more in the days to come after, which begs the question, if they're all due today, why are you putting some out after? I have also heard that prior to today, there has been a lot of talk of a lot of things being redacted. Again, that blurs the line of the act that was passed by the Senate, 100, signed by Donald Trump and the House by 400 and something to 1. There can be some issues with the redactments. We'll wait to see. Also, to be clear, there are some legalities, and Pam Bondi and people in the DOJ can be held in contempt because the law that was signed says that all files must be released December the 19th by midnight. So they can be held in contempt, obstruction of justice, etc., etc. Now, do I think Pam Bondi is going to get arrested tomorrow morning? No. But I do think that there are some things in the act or the law that has passed that will be able to put some pressure on the DOJ. But I think ultimately, I've been saying this for the past 2 weeks, I think ultimately between Trump and MAGA and their resources, I just don't personally believe that we're going to get anything bombshell from either side, from Bill Clinton to Donald Trump. I've said this from the beginning. These files hurt both parties. I know a lot of people are actively like, oh man, Trump this, Trump that, or whatever, blah, blah. It's not just Trump. It's Trump, it's Bill Clinton, it's Bill Gates, and it's a lot of powerful people. And I don't think we're going to get what people are looking for. That's just my prediction. Who knows what will come about this, but just want to let you know that is the latest. Y'all let me know if you think we're going to get any files that will change anything. We all have an opinion. We all know how Epstein is. We all know that. Do you think we're going to get anything that changes? Oh my gosh, Bill Clinton now is this, boom. Or now we have this, now we know Donald Trump is that, he needs to be impeached. What do you think that there's anything that are going to be released in these files that will change anyone's stature? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, our second story behind the feed and off the record. I wanted to give you guys an update from what I've been hearing on Nick Reiner, the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner. From what I've been hearing, Nick is going to be pleading not guilty for reasons of insanity. I'm going to read through the facts and then let you know my opinion. Basically, this is all have to do with mental health. I know some of you guys are on the fence with that. I feel like most of my listeners are, not necessarily mental health advocates, but at least sensitive to that. But I know this might be triggering to some people who don't believe in this. But there are reports that prior to this happening last week, Nick had been in a treatment facility and he was on medication for schizophrenia. Not just any treatment facility, but one of the most expensive in the world, one of the most elite. Of course, Rob Reiner and his wife, the family, are very wealthy. Apparently, it was $70,000 a month. Now, apparently, for the past couple of months, they haven't been able to get through to Nick. They changed his medication. And for those of you who understand mental health, it's not like, oh, you're schizophrenic, here is one pill, you're cured. There's treatment, there's talk therapy, there's shock therapy, there is pills, there's different medications. And depending on the medication, you have to see how you're feeling, and then they could up the dose, lower the dose, they could change the dose. And apparently, the past couple of months, the medication that was changed made him worse, and he was erratic. And as a result of that, Nick, which we have heard of before, was doing more illegal DRUGs. And we talked about that sometime this week, that a lot of people that take the illegal DRUGs is because they're self-medicating themselves. Even people that are not diagnosed with anything, or even people that are not on medication, you don't even realize it, but you're spending your weekends like, yeah, I want to be drinking, and yes, I want to be this, or da-da-da, whatever, blah, blah, or pills or whatever, and you don't realize that you're doing that because you're self-medicating yourself because you're trying to forget about the hard week you had, or the fight with your wife or your husband or whatever. And a lot of us are out here self-medicating ourselves and don't even realize that. I've been very transparent. I learned that in therapy. When you mix that with a mix of medication that's not working, now you have two things in your system that are not working, and you have huge mental health issues where it comes to schizophrenia. So that is what they're going to say in court. From what I heard, they're not going to say, oh, he didn't do it. They're going to say, yes, he was, but it was temporary insanity. Now, what that results in, it's not of him like, oh, okay, it was a mental health issue, no problem. You get to go and walk alone in the street by yourself. No, he'll either be held in a facility, he'll either, whatever, the doctors will assess and treat it. Now, like I said, I've already seen some people maybe online being like, oh, that's not fair or whatever, and people blaming mental health or whatever. I just want to tell you something. Some of these places where these people who plead insanity have to stay are worse than a jail, like far worse. So we have to wait and see the time that he gets, where he'll get sent, etc., whatever, blah, blah, blah. But everybody that has talked about this story has said from the beginning, like the night that it happened, was Nick is not well. You know, there's interviews with him and Rob saying that he's not well. I've told you reports where the mom for the past couple of months was like, I'm at my wit's end, not wanting to give up, but like, I don't know what to do. And if you remember, I think last month we did a members only, or for my members, one of my listeners sent me voice note, and she was talking about her son and the mental health issues that she has gone through with him since he was young till now. And it was literally about, like, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. And I did all I could do to help her. But she said the same thing in her voice notes, was she sometimes feels like she's just at her end. And that's the thing about mental health. It's not there's no cure. You can't zap somebody and do something. It's kind of like cancer, where it's like, you know, you could do a treatment, you could do chemo, you could do this, and you hope to cure it, but it could slow down, it could come back up. So there's no 100% cure for it. So I just feel it's like, I feel bad all around. I saw an interview where somebody who was very, 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 very close with Rob and Michelle, and the interviewer asked me, he's like, are you mad at Nick? Do you feel any hostility towards him at all? And he said, no. He said, none at all. He said, I'm not mad at him. He's like, I feel bad for him. He's like, I've known him since he was a kid. So it's weird to ask for grace with somebody who's done something so horrific. I get it, but just try to understand. You know, I even told you guys where I was talking with my mom about it, and she's like, could you imagine, you know, like you bring a child into this world and you're kissing him when he's born, and then who would know 30 years later he's the one that unalives you? And I'm like, yeah, man, you know, like he had issues and he had mental health issues, whatever. She goes, no, he was on DRUGs, you know? And I was like, we have to, as a society, and I don't mean to shout out my mom, but mom's an older Jamaican lady. It's hard for her to accept mental health as a reason or an excuse, quote unquote. So that's how I know some of you think that as well too out there. But as a society, we have to do way more of educating the society about mental health, understanding it. And of course, we need to try harder also in the public field to have way more mental health resources. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, in our first lead story, Tory Lanez seeks pardon from Gavin Newsom in case against Megan Thee Stallion, plans to file multiple appeals with claims of new evidence. All right, you guys know I covered Tory Lanez trial. I went down to LA. And I feel like a lot of people are online are listening to this interview and they're like, yo, Tory, that's not it. Flacco put out a video like that, and so did Academics. And Academics is like the biggest Tory Lanez supporter, and he's like, yo, Tory, this is not it. I haven't listened to those two Academics or Flacco's shows yet, but Tory, I think it's about time that you just buckle in and just try to do your time, bro, you know? But look, I'll read the caption for you. During an interview with NBC, Tory Lanez announced his plans to file multiple appeals next week, citing new discovery evidence, including previous unreleased medical information in his case against Megan Thee Stallion. His attorney claimed that records from Megan's civil defamation suit suggest the possibility of unturned evidence during his 2002 incident and his trial. However, in an appeal that was denied in November, which took place in August that I was at, the court addressed the metal fragments found in Megan's foot and deemed the surgeon's testimony as more than sufficient. Tory is also seeking a pardon from Governor Gavin Newsom, while serving a 10-year prison sentence after being found guilty in 2020. At the appeal, I said the same thing. People thought I was a little harsh on him, but I was like, he doesn't have a chance here. It came out in November, didn't stand a chance, and now he's doing multiple attempts apparently next week for new evidence, which the appellate court already said it's not new evidence, and the testimony was sufficient. Now, asking Governor Newsom for a pardon, that's a whole other thing. I mean, he served 3 years. If you'll get a pardon or a commutation, that I feel, if anything, he'll have a greater chance at a commutation, where that means you still have a record, but you can get out of prison, right? We talked about that with the Diddy trial. A pardon means that it's totally just eradicated. I don't see on what grounds Governor Newsom would be like, yeah, you're getting a pardon. But maybe a commutation, maybe, hey, I've been doing this in jail. You got to prove that I don't need to be in here for 10 years. You can let me out now. And that is a mix of good behavior and et cetera, and a mix of, hey, they did me dirty. Look at these facts. But I think the facts from the appellate court, so you have the one court's decision and the appellate court, what grounds would Governor Newsom have to give him the commutation? And the commutations happen, I think I heard, twice a year, so once every 6 months. Here is a video from the interview. I just wanted you guys to see how he looks. And for me, he sounds a little bit different. He's like articulating and enunciating a little bit more, which could just be a result of him being sober, could be a result of him just being, sleeping more or training or being more focused or being more determined. Or it could just be a result of him, trying to show that he's a changed man because they know that he's going to be going up for a commutation. Here is Tory, and this is the question of what would you say to Megan if she was watching? Take a listen.
That moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I genuinely passed that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me coming at her, because it's not that. I'm just asking for somebody in the system to look at my case and look at the evidence and ask if this was fair.
Like I said from the beginning, Tory now wants to say, oh, I don't want people to think I'm coming at her. You went at her online. I'm not even talking about Milagro. Forget about that. Tory himself did. For those who don't know or maybe have forgotten, Megan first came out and was lying for him. Oh, I stepped on glass, and then Tory was shooting off his mouth. And she's like, okay. It was Tory. Now look, a lot of people, let's not get into it, but, Tory spent a lot of time dragging Megan, and this is the result, sir. Let me know what you guys think about Tory and if he should get a pardon, if he should get a commutation, or you guys think that he should stay and serve out the remaining 7 years of his sentence in the comment section below. All right, in our second lead story, the Brown University suspect has been found unalive of self-inflicted wounds inside a storage facility in New Hampshire. Okay, well, congratulations to the authorities for finding the gentleman. I don't know, I had his name somewhere, but I lost it. Anyways, I'm going to give you guys the quick rundown. I watched it all like unfold yesterday. I don't know if you guys were watching it. I think it was on Fox or CNN. I can't remember which one I had on, but they were outside the storage facility. They were like, oh my gosh, we don't know what's happening. People are outside. And I think they had to wait to get a search warrant and they found him. Now, I'm going to backtrack and give you guys the tip from a homeless man that they're calling John, a John Doe. They don't want to put out his name. Pretty sure about that. So how the story goes, if I remember everything correctly. So John, a homeless man that actually was living in the basement of the school or a building like close to the school, which is one thing. He was in the bathroom, I guess, kind of like washing up. And he saw this suspect, the person now know he did this incident at Brown University. And he saw him in the bathroom and felt like he was a little bit weird. I think he confronted him in the bathroom, but then also followed him when he left the building and was kind of walking around. So you see that video of the suspect, or no longer suspect, but the person who's apprehended now, walking around outside. And John, this homeless guy, was following him. And they had a conversation. And he was like, yo, why are you badgering me? Like, why are you bothering me? He's like, yo, why are you here? What are you doing? You seem suspicious. Apparently, John, the homeless guy, followed him and saw him going into a gray Nissan sedan, and it had Florida plates. So John put this on Reddit. And then when the police put out a picture of John, I think it was yesterday, they're like, hey, this is a person of interest that we would like to speak to. John was like, hey, I put this post out here on Reddit that I saw this Nissan sedan, gray Nissan sedan with Florida plates. They that's when they say the case kind of broke open. They did their research, found some stuff, found out that it was rented from Alamo Rental. I'm not exactly sure if it was in Rhode Island or Florida, but they found the rental. Then they found the picture, which I have of the guy here. Yeah, so this is what he looks like without his mask. So they were like, okay, here's a picture of him in the rental place. Then they did some software stuff and they found him in this storage place in New Hampshire. So I'm not 100% sure if these pictures are from the New Hampshire facility or in the Alamo, but it's one of the two. So they put everything together, went to the rental place, got a warrant, went in. The storage facility where they found him was actually registered to him. They found the car outside with evidence. I think he had the satchel he had on him when they found him, but there was some other evidence in the car. So that's how the story goes. There's supposed to be a $50,000 award. So hopefully this homeless man gets it. I don't know why he wouldn't. A couple of things people are saying, which I don't know if I find fair, but a couple of people are like, how could a homeless man be there and suspect this guy in the building, but the security guards around the university didn't suspect him? And I get it, but also I just think that we should just be happy that somebody somewhere was like, this guy seems a little sus, you know what I mean? And question him and go and follow him. But I also understand that if you have guards, if you have security people, you should have enough so to find guys like this. But sometimes, somebody will slip by, and just at least be happy that the society, and we should all do this more often, when something just kind of pops in your head like, doesn't feel right, talk about it. So you guys can decide in the comment section if you feel like Brown University is to blame, or do you think that this is just a lucky circumstance of somebody, a homeless man, John, seeing a guy in the bathroom and being like, you're a little weird, bro. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, in our third lead story, Tylil posts a full breakdown of the night with streamer Jourdin Pauline, who accused him of SA. Says the accusations came after realizing it was just a one-night stand and he didn't get her a black truck home. he also ignored her request for money. Okay, there's like a 5-minute video. I think it's probably even longer from Tylil. He was streaming. I think this is from last night, and a couple of sites have put it together. It's Tylil showing proof. Sorry, let me backtrack. You guys remember the Streamer Awards? After the night of the Streamer Awards, Jourdin Pauline came out and said, I was with Tylil. He has a girlfriend, but he SA'd me. I have proof, and showed text messages and stuff of them being together. But of course, she omitted some of the things now that Tylil is showing us. So Tylil is showing his side, saying, and there's a recording of her saying to him in bed, oh, this is a one-night stand, I've never done this or whatever, and sounding that she was complicit. Now, you have to put an asterisk on that, because y'all know how I am on the side of victims and especially women. I don't know if just that video of her 5 seconds saying like, oh, I can't believe I had a one-night stand, that like eradicates everything, but it does mean a lot. I'll give Tylil that. He also shows that she left the apartment or the condo or the hotel or wherever they are, and she goes downstairs and sees that it's a Toyota that he got her. And she DMs him back and it's like, yo, you got me a Toyota? You couldn't even just get me a black car? An Uber Black? An XL? Come on. Like, yo, you're Tylil. And by the way, sorry, I forgot to say this for those who don't know, Tylil, this is Kai Cenat's, one of Kai Cenat's really good friends, okay? Kai Cenat, one of the biggest streamers in the world. So Tylil now is like, okay, like you want to make a big deal of it? No problem. I'll cancel that and get you a black truck. Again, doesn't say she wasn't SA'd, but if you're SA'd and you're leaving a dude's house who SA'd you, would you send him a message back and be like, yo, I don't want to leave in a Toyota. I want to leave in a black truck? The other thing that he says is she sent him a request for $2,000. It's like, with everything that I had to deal with, yo, send me 2 G's. I want to be careful, very careful what I say here. I'm just going to leave that one alone, actually. It's the holidays. Like, I want to leave it at there, and I'm going to put the video. I'm not trying to get myself in trouble. Take a listen.
I've never had a one-night stand in my life.
What is a one-night stand?
Like, after the party type, when you first meet someone, and you don't talk to them.
So that's what we just had?
Did we just have a one-night stand?
No. As long as we cool about it, that's not a one-night stand. I said, as long as we speak about it, it's not a one-night stand.
That's one piece of evidence. Jourdin left the hotel room. Jourdin came back when she realized it was a Toyota. She banged on the door and demanded a black truck. Remember, she claimed she was assaulted. You're trying to get away from me as fast as possible. It shouldn't matter what car you get home in. Jourdin sent me Jourdin requested $2,000, and then in the note, it says, for playing with me. Jourdin sent me this. You see this meme right here? Me giving him his last warning before I show him who I really am. So once Jourdin realized I was not paying her $2,000, she sends me this. Don't let this world get to your head and you lose your moral compass. Because at the end of the day, we all have to deal with God. And if you know something made me feel a certain way, instead of trying to throw rocks and hide your hands, you should have fixed it immediately. And this could have been swept under the rug. Jourdin is a victim, but said this all been all swept under the rug.
So it's the sweeping it under the rug for $2,000. So again, she has her receipts. He has his receipts. He has that video. I think we have to wait to see where all of this goes. But, you know, his receipts do seem pretty understandable, that his story seems a little bit more credible. But we still haven't had the full explanation yet. Streamer Jourdin officially calls Tylil an R-word amid him showing receipts of her requesting money after the alleged SA. And she also put on Twitter, and this is why I'm reserving everything that I'm saying, the police got all the details, so stay tuned. She's amplifying the all. God always has the final say. He's seen and heard it all. He don't play about me. He's still an R word. It's that all why, you can look at the evidence in one side and be like, all right, that's, a Toyota, a black truck, one night stand, $2,000 swept under the rug. Okay. I played you guys last week, her evidence. Like, okay. Do we have all? Is there an investigation? Was there a kit done? Was there whatever, etc., etc. So rule is, believe all women, stand down. I think everybody on the internet should just chill a little bit till she says the police are involved, until we have all the evidence in a case like this, when there's a potential victim involved. And of course, some people think the victim is Tylil. Some people think the victim is Jourdin. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. Till now, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. All right, in our first quick story. All right, DJ Vlad posted this tweet a couple of days ago, and I was like, let me just wait and see. He posted, Diddy is going to hate me for the rest of his life after I drop this next interview. Remember this tweet. It's like, okay, fine, Vlad. Then I see this today. SEX worker says Diddy's cucumber is only 3 inches, claims Diddy admitted he couldn't give his girl a big so that's why he likes other men to do it. An SEX worker is making a little claim about Diddy. During an interview with DJ Vlad, Sly Diggler, who makes adult films, says he was contacted by a woman about SEX. While we can't say who she is, an obvious clue is that she dated both Diddy and 50 Cent. He says the woman asked to see his package on FaceTime before inviting him to meet up and have SEX. She admitted that a high-profile celebrity would be there. Sly says after arriving at the hotel, he signed an NDA and Diddy allegedly walked in. Sly says the woman danced for him, gave him blank, and they also took turn. Him and Diddy also took turns. Okay. When asked, Sly alleged that Diddy's package was only 3 inches. Sly claims Diddy admitted that he couldn't give his girl the type of that Sly had on him. Sly says he has proof that the encounters were real because Diddy accidentally used his phone to record the freak off. Allegedly. Sly showed the video to Vlad. Vlad concluded that Puff Daddy is now Shrimp Daddy. Okay. I'll play a little part of it, or maybe I won't. I'm not too sure yet. But one thing from being in the courtroom is that Diddy would just grab a phone and start recording stuff. Cassie did say that. Yeah, can I say that? I'm afraid. Like, can I say yes? You can say Cassie's name. You can't say Jane Doe's name. So Cassie said that that's why she had some videos, because he would just find a phone and start recording. Okay. The one thing I don't believe is Vlad saying that he saw the video and he could conclude that he's 3 inches, because if he had a video, that video would have leaked. There's no way. Like, and Vlad is very open. Vlad pays for interviews. He's like, hey, I'll pay you interviews. It goes on YouTube. I make money. I'll give you half the money. So this guy who's doing this interview, he is getting paid. That's not even a question. Do you know how much money he could get if he had a video of Diddy's cucumber? Are you joking? These freak-offs are in like Fed lockdown. Like, even when they played it in court, it was like extra security. Like, you're trying to tell me you have video and you're just going to show it to Vlad for $5,000-$10,000. I don't believe this. I don't care about the size. That's not what I am saying. Maybe that part of it is true. But the fact that he has a video and he's showing it to Vlad and Vlad's like, yeah, you're Shrimp-Diddy, I don't believe that part. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, in our second quick story, TikTok officially signs Donald Trump-backed deal selling off its U.S. entity to group of American investors. All right, we're going to get a little techie talking about TikTok, but for those of you who want to understand what's going on, here it is. TikTok has officially signed its Donald Trump-backed deal selling off its U.S. entity to a group of American investors. The deal establishes a joint venture with China, but based in the U.S. with the majority of U.S. investors and owners and a majority of investors, American investors, sitting on the board of directors. Under a law passed last year, ByteDance, the Chinese-based company, who is the parent company of TikTok, was required to either sever ties with the social media platform American's operation or lose access to U.S. app stores and web hosting services. The law gave until January 2025 at the deadline. However, President Donald Trump, who initially wanted to ban TikTok in his first administration in 2020, positioned himself as a hero with a cape and repeatedly extended the ban's deadline. He most recently extended the deadline until January the 23rd, 2026. On Thursday, December the 18th, it was first reported that the deal had become official. Oracle Corporation, Silver Lake, Abu Dhabi-based MGX would collectively own 45% of the U.S. entity of TikTok, each getting 15% each. Current ByteDance investors will own nearly one-third of the new entity. The breakdown shows 19.9% retaining by ByteDance and 30% held by affiliates of existing ByteDance investors. Okay, sorry, a lot of numbers, a lot of techie stuff. Just want to show you that it's not just China anymore. And the thing that calls out to me, why I wanted to read you guys all of that, is Oracle Corporation, Silver Lake, and Abu Dhabi. MGX and our AGX in Abu Dhabi. America is the biggest economy in the world. The most, I think, billionaires and millionaires in the world. And Donald Trump had to get somebody from Abu Dhabi? You couldn't get somebody American. This is Donald Trump putting his people. And if you hear another reason I wanted to read you that is, at first he was like, ban TikTok. We don't want to give TikTok nothing. But when it comes to money and when it comes to hooking up his friends, yo, let's go. And then he packages it in, yo, TikTok was good to me. The people on TikTok helped me get elected, which is true, but he's not doing it for the people that helped him get elected. He's doing it for the pocket. And there's some way behind closed doors that he's profiting off this deal, allegedly. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, in our third quick story, Donald Trump signs executive order declaring Christmas Eve and December the 26th a federal holiday. Certain offices will remain open. Trump and his Sharpie is working. He reportedly signed an executive order giving most federal workers Christmas Eve and December the 26th, 2025 off. According to ENE News, the order states agency leaders can determine which offices of their organization have to report to work those days, and that will be determined for reasons of national security, defense, and other public needs. The order only applies to 2025. Why, Mr. Trump? Why, Mr. President? Would you want just this year for these people to have off? Maybe it has something to do with the Epstein files. Maybe it has something to do with, I don't know, something weird here. And I'm not saying it has to do with the Epstein files or the Medicaid and Medicare and everything, but if he's doing this year alone, there's something up. We know Trump by now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, y'all. This brings us to everyone's favorite segment, comment and social discussion of the day. Before we start the segment, y'all know I have a very important question to ask y'all. Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Let me answer that question for y'all. Yes, they are, all three of them. If you're not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform, please go to my sponsor below, aura.com/trend-out-loud, to get your free 14-day trial to see if any of your data has already been exposed. If you're ever wondering how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is filled with spam, here is why. There are companies called data brokers, and they sell your data. They do it without your consent, and they make billions of dollars selling it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. That is why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family, friends, and out louders. Aura takes care of the hard part for you, automatically removing your information off of these sites and keeping it off. Aura is an all-in-one digital security platform. You may already have digital security tools, but not having Aura is like locking your front door and keeping your back door open. With Aura, you get alerts if any of your personal information is ever found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for your credit card or banking information. You got a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager. They have US-based around-the-clock customer service. Also, in the event that anything should ever go wrong, Aura also includes, not offers, they include a $5 million identity theft insurance protection package. You are covered 160 degrees with Aura. Second link below, QR code beside me. If you do anything online, you're ever wondering if any of your information has ever been put out on the dark web, you can find out for free with Aura. All right, I got a super thanks. Bam, 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 bam. This one comes from Renee G, I think. Trend, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all you do. I watch faithfully every day. Merry Christmas. All right, Renee G, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you so much for that super chat. Also, y'all know from like the past 2 days, I've been over on Spotify checking what's going on there since our Spotify wrap. So I'm going to try my best to bring some comments over from there as well too. And this one is from Jenna Wyman. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Sorry. I put it into Google. And I think it's Jen because there's no A. So it's Jenny Wyman. Sorry. She says, I'm in the 188. I listen every morning on my way to work. If I happen to miss, I watch all the episodes I missed before anything else. You are my number one show I listen to. You make me feel like we're having a one-on-one conversation, and so many of your thoughts and opinions are ones I agree with, or they give me a different point of view. Congratulations on all of the positive accomplishments, but most of all, thank you for your positive energy, your dedication, and hard work. Jen, thank you so much. Really love that. There's so much in here. For those of you who've missed maybe a couple of days, we are the top 1% video on Spotify. And during the wrap, we got 3 awards. And they also let us know that I think it was like there's of 2,000 people were their top 10 show. I don't know, maybe like 1,000 people were their top 5 show, and 188 people were their number 1 show on the platform. Jen is saying that she is part of that. Also, what I really, really love about this is not missing a show and going back and watching all the other ones. And the thing I like the most is feeling like you're having a one-on-one conversation with me. I love that. Recently, somebody was reading my book, and they're like, yo, like, it feels like I'm talking to you. I wrote my book in a colloquial style writing, and that's to make you feel like we're having a conversation. And that is what I try to do here with this show. I really just try to feel like it's me and you talking. So yes, I know when I read something, and I'm not the best reader anyways because I'm dyslexic, but I can't wait to put it down and just speak to you guys. So to hear that back, that it doesn't sound produced or contrived, and we're just having a conversation. I love that. And that's why I ask you guys all the time to comment below too, because I'm not right all the time. And I literally just have an opinion, and I really want to hear your opinion too, whether you disagree with me or not. So this show really, really is about having a conversation. And lastly, I love that we agree, but I like that when you said that we don't agree, you're getting a different point of view, which shows me that you're an open-minded person, which I am a very open-minded person. So I love that I'm finding like-minded people. And when I say that we're growing a community, we're growing this channel, those are the kind of people who I'm trying to cultivate as open-minded people. So this comment really touched me. And thank you very, very much for the congratulations and saying you like my positive energy. This comment really meant a lot to me. So thank you very, very much for that. Okay, so that was super thanks comment. For those of you who are interested in giving a super thanks of your own, just to let you know, this came from people asking, do you have PayPal? Do you have Venmo? You're on 7 days a week. We want to give back. We want to help the show. The best way to give back to the show is the thanks button that's at the bottom of every single video. You just press that button. You get a dial. You can skew or press whatever amount you would like to give back. Whatever you give is very much appreciated. But what I love about the thanks button versus PayPal or Venmo is that you could erase the thanks comment and put whatever comment you want, say whatever you want to me. It kind of like gives me like a notification. No, it's not kind of, it gives me a notification. It's like sending me a text message. I'll heart it, like it, and I'll read back your comment on the next day's show if you would like me to. Here's YouTube explaining it better than I can.
Buy a super thanks by clicking the thanks button under your video. There are multiple price points a viewer can purchase that each have their own special one-time animation. As an added bonus, viewers will get to post a distinct, colorful comment in your video's comment section.
All right. Now, also, before we get to social discussion, I just want to tell you guys and remind y'all to sign up for the Out Loud membership. With the Out Loud membership, you get a loyalty badge, emojis, member-only live stream, member-only videos, early access to new videos, and member shoutouts. Also, you get access to our vlogs. And like I said at the top of the show, I'm probably going to be doing some stuff over the holiday season with members only. So sign up today. It's the first link below. You'll see a join or membership button on YouTube above me. When you get to the menu, just want to give you guys just an advance notice. You'll see different levels. You'll see PayPal. You'll see Out Loud Family, Proud, MVP. Those are, again, just from people saying, hey, we want to give a little bit more. So we kind of put it like as like a tip menu. Choose whatever amount you would like. All levels give you guys all the same access. We're one happy family, all right? We are just happy that you are joining up to the membership. So thank you. Okay, now let's get to social discussion. Programming note, for the past week, we have been putting maybe we started out like 10, then we got down to like 6 and then 4 social discussions. And I kind of noticed, I didn't even purposely do this, but I kind of noticed they were really all about like love and relationship and everything. And you guys know that I used to have a Instagram live show, The Four Corners of Love. Like I love talking about it. But I realized like social discussion is not always about love or relationships or people or guys and girls and all of that stuff. So I have decided, and like I said, I was going to test it all week. What I've decided to do is keep social discussion as social discussion, whatever it is. And today I'm going to let you know what it's going to be in 1 second. And then I'm going to have a new segment where we put one story a day. It doesn't have to be 4, it doesn't have to be 10, just one story a day, love and relationships, so I could get that part out. I love seeing that stuff online. So I want to, as you guys know, when I first started the show, it was really about talking with people and interviews and all of that stuff. And like I said, my 4 corners of love. So, you know, the show will always remain the show, but putting in social discussion and love and relationships gets that kind of that fire out of me. And as a creative, I need to have an outlet. So we'll be separating that out. Okay. So today's social discussion is Trump officially signs an executive order to reclassify that Bob Marley and make it a less dangerous DRUG. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you think now in 2025 that we need to still have that Bob Marley, that I can't even say it on YouTube, is going to get flagged? Do we need to have that be reclassified as less? Isn't it time to just make it completely legal? And I don't know. There's different countries that have it legal. There's different states within the US that have it legal. There's medical or whatever. I just think it might be time. The one thing that I wanted to say while you guys sound off, before you guys sound off below, is one of the great things I think people are missing with this reclassification is now that it's been reclassified as still technically illegal, but that's a lesser DRUG, means now that it can be researched. Because when something like the white stuff, that it's like, yo, it's illegal. We're not going to research it. And there was not enough research dollars. But something like this now, where it's low level, now it can get a lot more research dollars. Why I think that's good is for the same reason why I put this in social discussion. Because everyone's like, oh, you should legalize it, yo. You know, it's God-given. It's a plant. It's okay for you. It's okay. How do we really know it's okay? How do we really know? Because I remember asking my doctor about it like around 5 or 6 years ago, and he gave me the same answer. He was like, because of where it's classified, scientists haven't gotten the time and the money and the resources to really find out. So if you guys remember back in the 60s and 70s, they didn't know everything about can I say that on YouTube? The normal smoking, not the Bob Marley, but the other ones, the ones that you buy in the pack, the 20-25 pack. You have to be very, very careful. YouTube flags your videos very quickly right now. I got 2 videos flagged last week, so I'm being extra careful. I know it's annoying, but just bear with me. Anyways, so that came out like, then we find out it gives you cancer. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. You know, same thing like drinking, you know what I mean? So I bring my point to say, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, yeah, legalize it. But I think Trump making this move, and of course, it's not just Trump, but Trump and his team and the medical doctors that were pushing for this, is put it here at this level. It's very lax now. Certain states have legalized it. Now we can get money. Now we could research it. And then the next 4 or 5 years, potentially maybe even sooner, we can come and say, all right, it's amazing for you. You know what I mean? Like, you thought almond milk was good for you? Y'all need that Bob Marley. Or, hey, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So we'll finally get to have that answer. Until then, sound off below. Do you think that it should be a federal legalized DRUG? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, in our first story in our new segment, Love and Relationship, how to test emotional intelligence. Before I play the video or read the caption here, it's a very quick caption. Just for you guys who don't watch the whole show and might just be clicking things, I just said this in social discussion. For the past week, I have been putting more stories in social discussion or more topics in social discussion and thinking that I wanted to build out social discussion. And just unbeknownst to me, I didn't even realize, I look back and everything in social discussion was about love, about relationships, guys, girls, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, social discussion is not only just about that, but I like talking about that because I used to have a Instagram live show every Thursday, 4 Corners of Love. So I made a decision. I'm sorry if this is repetitive for people who watch the whole show. I'll make it quick. I've made a decision now to keep social discussion as social discussion. There'll be one topic, probably not going to be about relationship and love or whatever. And now I'm going to have a new segment, one time a day, one story a day. It's not going to be 4. It doesn't need to be 10. One a day where there is a topic about love and relationship, and we'll talk that out because I need to get that out. I see shows and podcasts about that, and like I feel like, I want to say something or I want to have a show that way. So this is my way of getting my creative juices out, okay? So, ego reacts, care listens. How to test emotional intelligence. Take a listen.
Do you want to test somebody's emotional intelligence? Try telling them that they hurt your feelings. Now, the reasoning for this is not what you think, because what matters is not their perfect response. It's their willingness to sit with your discomfort instead of running from the problem. See, people who care about your well-being, they're going to slow down. They're going to listen. They're going to ask you to explain, and they're going to try to understand the impact that they've had, even if it stings their pride. But people who don't are going to rush to defend themselves. They're going to minimize your experience, or they're going to make the conversation all about your sensitivity and all about them. So pay attention to whether they're trying to protect the relationship or just protect their ego, because that difference tells you everything.
Okay, let's be fair. I think we all have done this. I think we're all guilty of this. Like, what? I didn't do that. Like, you feel this way. Yeah, like, I think that we all have done that. But I do also think that it is our ego. And I really, this is what really got my attention. So ego reacts, care listens. And I don't know, for the past, I would say good, like 5 years, I've been purposely trying to make an effort, because I used to be that person where it's like, what? It's not me, it's you. You know what I mean? And when somebody's coming to you and telling you something and telling you how they feel as a result of your actions, it's for a reason. Like it came to a point for them to tell you. So for you to come back and tell them, like, now that I think about it, like, there's no reason for you to feel that way. If you felt that way, you could have done this, or you could have done this, or you could have done this. And it's so much about you and you. And when you really care about somebody, and when you develop your emotional intelligence, which I've been really trying to work on and develop, you will see that even if the person is right or wrong, that's what's not important. It's, you got to reciprocate that with care and be like, okay, so, some of the things I've been doing have made you feel this way. Okay. And then for me, I say, okay, what are the things in particular? There's this, there's this, there's this. And I'm like, okay, I could see that. And I'm transparent. And I'm like, well, do you think maybe this might be a little bit you being a little sensitive? And then hopefully they're like, okay, maybe. So then I feel like it could be discussed, but 100,000%. And, like I said to somebody a couple of months ago, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of, saying like, hey, like something that you're doing is making me feel away. And they're like, okay. And then like, I didn't really see a change. And then they're like, oh, by the way, I thought about it. And like, if you felt that way, you could have just called and asked. And it's like, why would you, or call and ask, or call and clarify, or you coulda. And it's like, I think this is what this is trying to say. Like, yeah, maybe I coulda, but if you really care, then maybe you could have taken some onus and said, okay, let me do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think higher level, it's not necessarily that they don't care. I think it is what this guy is saying. I think it's just a lack of emotional intelligence. And we right away, they're like, no, I didn't mean to do that. So that it can't be my fault. Like, no, I'm not that. So it can't be that. It has to be you. And that's what it is. So it's not caring or not caring or whatever at a higher level. It's really, really, really about saying, hold on, I care about this person. Who cares who's pointing fingers? Let me hear, let me be open-minded, and let me try to give them something. I think that's emotional intelligence. I think that's love, and I think that's required in all relationships. Yay. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to question of the day. What trends need to stay in 2025 and never come back? First person said pop the balloon. Okay, to be fair, 100% there's a million pop the balloons online, but the first one, shout out to Arlette and BM, is still good. And I feel like the other ones has exhausted everybody out. And the one small little critique I will say to Arlette and BM, I just feel like you guys are coming up on 100 episodes, and who am I to talk? I mean, you guys are doing amazing out here. But as somebody who's watched, I think maybe every single one, I think there needs to be some sort of a change up. Like Arlette asked the same questions. The people who are looking for love, they're like, why didn't you pop your balloon? I just wanted to hear them out. Even you go into the comment section, it's like, hey, before I watch, they say the 3 lines, so maybe something can change, or maybe it's better to just not change anything, right? Like, why mess up something that's working? Anyways, still love Pop the Balloon. Shout out to Arlette and BM. Somebody said them AI photos and videos. Okay, that's not going anywhere. It's just going to intensify in 2026. Somebody says edges and unrealistic lashes. I love edges, but yeah, the unrealistic latches are crazy. Somebody says Krishan and Blueface. I just said that this week. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I cannot keep talking about Krishan and Blueface. And I loved when he came out. I was like, yo, they're back. It's going to be fun. It was just too much. It's too much. They got to stay in 2025. I'm done with them. Somebody said 6'7". By the way, anybody who missed yesterday's show, put 6'7" in Google. Just 6'7" and see what happens. The whole year can go. It was trash. Somebody said racism. Somebody said President Trump and his current administration. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, we're not going to say that. Somebody said BBLs. Somebody was saying that to me, like BBLs are anti-vibes now. Crazy work. The overuse of the word narcissist. By the way, I do feel like we overuse words. Even me, I feel like I overuse the word insecure. Whenever I'm talking about men, I'm like, men are so insecure. Men are so insecure. And I'm going to try in 2026 to find other words when talking about men or anybody else. Because sometimes we get caught up on a word and we just keep saying it over and over. The edges that meet the eyebrows, 6'7" for sure. That TikTok dance that they do with the swimming motion when they're holding their nose. Somebody says Blueface and family. See? Told you, man. Somebody said inflation, high rent. That's a good one. Male-centered women. Oh, gosh. Zeus Network shows. What else? What else? The trend. Okay, no. No. Baby hair. Pause. Pause is never going anywhere. Stop it. Viral dances everybody tries to copy. Well, that's the whole point of a viral dance. No. Baby hairs. Why are y'all so mad at baby hairs? And by the way, baby hairs have been around for years. They ain't going nowhere. Somebody said the hate, definitely. Lopsided BBLs, 1,000%. Crying on the internet. Yo, that is bad, though. I feel the crying on the internet, it's not bad if somebody's recording and then cries. But if you set up and you start crying. Sorry, I mean, if you are mid-cry and it's stop. Anyways, let me know what you think should stay in 2025 in the comment section below. All right, y'all, that is it for today, our first official holiday. Look, I was like, I'm going to try to make today's show smaller because it's our first holiday show. We're still over an hour, so have no fear. Have no fear when I say holiday shows are going to be smaller or shorter. Trust me, I'm going to be here because you guys are all I got, and I love y'all. So wish you guys a happy holidays, and I hope you liked our first holiday show, and stay tuned for many, many more. All right, before I let you guys go, I just want to remind you of 3 things. First, for those who are looking to give back, use that thanks button below and give back to your favorite YouTube host. Second of all, do not forget to sign up for the Out Loud membership is the first link below and a membership or join button above us on YouTube. Thirdly, it's the holiday season. Give back to yourself. Do not be shopping online. Use the second link below, the QR code beside me, and sign up for Aura. Aura will protect you on the internet. If you're ever wondering if your credit card, social security number, or any of your information is online, free for 14 days, Aura will show you what of your information is online, and with a click of a button, they remove it for you for free. So sign up today. Before I let you go, I want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trent Out Loud show. For those of you who like to listen on podcast platforms, head over to any podcast site. Type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Do not forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And yes, even though it's holidays, we're probably still going to upload 7 days a week. We got y'all. Now, for those of you who are like me and like watching on videos or watching on video and videos, head on over to YouTube, type in Trent Out Loud. 6 things I'm going to need you to do. First 2 is hit that subscribe and hit that like button, get the algorithming. Third thing, and most important for me personally, is please try to comment below. You guys are my co-hosts. Yes, we pick the topics. Yes, I say my take first, but it's very important to me because if I am only saying my take and you guys are not, then there is no point of the show, okay? So please, please, please be good co-hosts and comment below. Now, I do not want to make you guys feel pressured. For those of you who do not want to comment, please do not feel pressured. But one thing you can do is comment the country or city you are watching from. I look at all the comments before I go to bed every night. And what I love seeing is how global this show is and which country and or city you're watching from. So don't be afraid to comment that. For those of you who are really loving the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones because it helps with growing the channel. You guys hear me say every day, we're in this for a long haul. We're building a community and we're trying to build this channel. So please help us and share. 5th, sign up for the Out Loud membership. 6th, use that thanks button below. For those of you who want to follow me outside of the show, I'm available on all social platforms, and it's always the same handle, Trent Out Loud. I'm the most active on Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, please follow our show, the Trent Out Loud Show, on the gram. That's it for today. Whatever way that you digest this show, whether it be at night, whether it be in the morning, whether it be on your way home from work, working out, getting ready, I hope we were able to make your experience that much more enjoyable. Laugh, cry, or made you think. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, maybe same time, same place. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!